Many systems have several issues within it that cause it to run inefficiently. In distribution centers in the US, many of them do not use the space given to them efficiently and have issues keeping track of what they have in store or in the center and what goes in and what comes out. The main goals of my training session today are to plan the organization before allowing stuff to be on the floor, getting account of all the product that you have coming in and going out, learning how to keep track of what comes in, what comes out. This is by numbers, size, the amount of product, and who is bringing stuff in and how many people are buying it before allowing more stuff to come in. This also is bettering the communication between the people who are working on the floor and the people who are up above or higher ups that are working the offices. For my training session, you'll need a notebook and a pen to keep notes and to keep track of what you have learned throughout the day. Me, myself, is going to need a projector and a computer in order to portray what information needs to be given to the participants, and a calculator as well for some of the activities we'll be doing later. To start my training intervention, the opening assignment is going to be a survey that is also going to be used as a closing activity as well. This will allow people to look back on their prior knowledge and experience and also learn about things that they don't have very much experience and knowledge about, which is where I will come in with my presentation and some of the information I'll be giving them. So this is kind of like an all-day type of thing. It'll take possibly 1 to 2 days. As most training interventions go, there's usually a check-in time. My check-in time is going to be around 8 o'clock. The survey will start around 9 to allow people to come in either before 8, after 8. As long as they're there before 9, before the training actually starts, and it's all good. At 9:30 a.m. is going to be a lecture given by me about some layouts of different warehouses, how to draw a layout, how to plan out where you're going to put all of your product within the distribution center. One of the first activities we're going to do is following that lecture. It's going to be practicing drawing different layouts, possibly of your distribution center. If not, I will have examples on the screen of what people can draw, which will allow them to practice what needs to be done in order to maximize the potential of their distribution center. The next part of my lecture is going to be designating product to where it needs to be, and it'll allow people to keep track of what they have by putting similar products next to each other and making sure everything stays organized within the distribution center. The first competition / activity I'm gonna have is organizing stuff into groups by similarities. I believe that people learn very well when it comes to competition. It's human nature to be competitive. So allowing people to be competitive while learning new skills and ideas, it will help them better understand what needs to be learned in order, like I said, to keep the organization of the distribution center efficient. It'll be organizing shapes into categories that would help with organizing product in the warehouses. Yes, this is a simple task / competition, but it allows people to be creative and use their minds and use their imagination to create groups of organizations. So there could be a couple squares of different sizes, a few triangles, different size. It could be a right triangle, equilateral triangle. It can be a couple shapes that have different number of sides, different lengths, and it'll allow people to organize them based on how they want to, as long as it becomes efficient. And this will also allow for people to find similarities they have within one another if they have similar ideas when organizing. The second part of my session is keeping track of the product you have that is coming in and going out of your distribution center. This will allow to make sure that you do not run out of product. This will also make sure that you keep track of, or making sure you have enough product in order to ship out to your customers. The first part of the lecture will be how to keep a live and accurate count of your product. This will help teach what you have in your warehouse at all times. This also goes within the communication, which will be talked about later. Obviously, communication is a big key in order to keep track of what you have and what you don't have. Counting products. So this is gonna be one of the first exercises we have. We're gonna use stats of other warehouses as an example. It'll be data that it's been kept track of for 3 days in a row. It's 3 days in a row, a couple weeks. For a couple weeks, so it's gonna be like a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then like the next week will be a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then that third week will be like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. This will help with data collection, data organization, which will also lead to having a better knowledge of what you have in stock at all times, allowing to keep your system efficient. So the exercise will be shadowing. So obviously, as the instructor of the training session, I will be shadowing the participants in the training session. So with some of the knowledge I have of working on a floor of a distribution center, this will be helpful for them as well, because I'll be able to teach them things that they might not know about, or they might know something about, but they don't have a great understanding of it. So this activity will be just analyzing the data and keeping track of the differences between each day. This will allow for knowing how much product is going out the door, how much product is going in the door, and how much are coming in the door, and how much product you have on the actual floor. This will help also, like I said, it will help with keeping track. It'll also help run a smoother system within your organization. The next lecture will be how to track shipments coming in and out. Teaching different ways to keep track of what comes in before it's put on the floor, and allowing time to count what is being shipped out. As we know, a lot of distribution centers, they order stuff in large amounts, but sometimes they order too much where not enough is being sold, and then they have an overstock of that certain product. That certain product can end up staying there for weeks to months, causing less room within the distribution center or the warehouse, which it doesn't allow for other products to come in, which may be needed by customers. Allowing yourself to keep track of the shipments coming in and out is important, because in order to keep the efficiency, to make sure there's not delays on shipping time, you need to know what product you have to make sure you have it in stock. And if there's not enough, you can order it. And if there is too much, you may be able to get more of it out and not order as much, in order to keep the amount of the product you have to an exact amount, instead of having a surplus or not enough. My part 3 of my lecture is going to be communication. This is going to be how to communicate in a professional setting between the hands on the floor and higher ups. Well, the first part is just going to be between hands on the floor. This is just going to be in a lecture setting. There's not too many exercises you can do with this, but it's teaching ways to improve communication between hands on the floor to help keeping track of all product in warehouse, and like I said, what is coming in and what is going out. I feel like that is the most important, with making sure you use your room, the space you have in your warehouse, efficiently. To keep it efficient is by improving your communication. If we can communicate within one another where product goes, how much product is coming in, how much product is going out, is very important. But what more important is my next part, and that's just the communication between the hands and the higher ups. Obviously, the higher ups deal with more of the money. They deal with the ordering. They deal with the websites where customers go on to order what they need, and they know the exact amounts of what needs to be shipped out. And they also do the math of what needs to be shipped in. If the hands on the floor do not communicate what is being delivered and what is coming out, and if the product is missing, if the product is too much, they need to communicate with with the higher ups, because if the higher ups don't know that, they don't know what needs to be ordered. and what they already have before they order too much of it. Exercises between the hands and the higher up is just practicing communication skills. So something I've done in the past that I like to use during my training interventions are practicing skits. Yes, the issue with that is a lot of people think it's a dumb way to exercise this skill, but the best skill is just to practice your communication. This isn't just like your normal, like, oh, hey, what's up, like your informal conversation. This is more of a formal conversation between one another, employees and employees' bosses. This will be important because allowing for clear communication between one another will keep the efficiency of the system running smoothly and allow for the distributions to run smoothly and to end the issue of not using the room given by the distribution center efficiently. My part 4, which is my final part of my lecture or my training intervention, will be reviewing topics and ending with a similar survey to the one that we opened up with. I'm going to start with just a quick review of everything I talked about, go through the main ideas, the communication, the tracking of what's coming in and out, and planning organization of your distribution center. Obviously, I feel like this is the 3 most important in order to end the issue of the inefficiency of the warehouse that the distribution center uses. I'll also open this up for a Q&A for the last about an hour or so before the survey is given and the training intervention is finished. Allowing for Q&A will allow people to connect with one another, connect with me, myself as well, where I can give them ideas that may help them in their future. Q&As can also be beneficial for myself as well because it'll allow me to determine what was important for that training intervention and what would be important for following interventions or sessions with the same group. The survey is going to be very similar to the one we started with. This is because first they can reconnect with their prior knowledge and experience that they had before coming into this session, and once they finish the session they can then connect with what they had just learned and what they have already learned or knew in the past. I like this because this allows for like adult learners to use their prior knowledge that they had before to connect with what they just learned, and then build connections to make the session that they just had beneficial towards them in their future. Just to finish up, just exit discussion with one another. This could be just your informal conversations between one another to learn about each other a little bit more. And this also creates a bond between employees at a certain distribution center. Thank you.